I couldn't help but beam with anticipation, I murmured, trying to keep my smile in check. For 6 months, I'd burned the midnight oil, revamped the back-end systems, mentored 2 interns, and cleaned up the mess Mark left after the quarterly fiasco. This was my time to shine, or so I believed. My boss, Greg, barely glanced up from his coffee mug. He let out a dry laugh. Raise? What raise? He said, his tone flat. We gave it to Mark. I froze, stunned. What? He nodded toward HR. They confirmed with a nod and slid a document across the sleek table. The title screamed, Salary Increase Approval, Mark Evans. My stomach dropped. HR cleared their throat. You were never considered. Mark lounged in his chair, flashing that smug, frat boy grin. My bad, he said, feigning remorse. Meant to mention it. The room went quiet, not the guilty kind, just painfully awkward. The kind of silence that lingers when no one notices your wounds. A glitch in their system. I stood. I understand, I said, voice steady. No tears, no arguments. I returned to my desk, grabbed my favorite mug, my USB drive, and the tiny plan I'd tended through countless late-night deadlines. No one followed. No one cared. I was gone. But what they didn't know, I'd been keeping records. Every stolen idea, every ignored report, screenshots, emails, a full backup of the codebase Mark claimed as his own. I wasn't leaving broken. I was leaving ready. My name is Jenna Lee, and wherever you're watching from, stick around. This story's about to heat up with the revenge I had in store. 2 weeks later, no calls, no emails, not even a sorry it didn't work out. They figured I'd fade away quietly, like every other woman they dismissed and discarded. But I didn't fade. I got to work. While Mark was busy posting victory selfies and Greg was congratulating himself for rewarding loyalty, I turned my apartment into a command center. I had backups of every code sprint I'd written, voice recordings of strategy meetings Mark slept through, screenshots of Slack chats where he begged me to rephrase his work to sound sharper. And one more thing, I never signed their NDA. They didn't think I was worth the paperwork. That was their first misstep. The second, underestimating my memory. I started drafting a Medium post titled, How I Built a $1 Million Platform While a Mediocre Man Stole My Credit and My Raise. I held off on publishing, though. First, I gave them a chance to fix it. I emailed Greg directly. Subject, credit where it's due. A concise, professional warning that carried weight if you knew what I held. 3 hours later, Greg responded, his tone softer. Let's talk. I declined. No more discussions, just action. The next morning, Mark emailed me. Hey, Jenna, sorry again. Nothing personal. You're awesome at what you do. I didn't reply. Instead, I sent him a zip file of the codebase he claimed, BCCing the CTO of the company that had just acquired our startup for $12 million. That's when the chaos started. I watched it unfold on LinkedIn in real time. Mark's promotion post vanished. Greg's boast about fostering talent was silently erased. Whispers turned into an audit, and I hadn't even played my biggest card yet. By Tuesday, the ripples became a tsunami. I wasn't even watching when it hit. Someone sent me a screenshot. Urgent. Internal IP review. Attribution discrepancy. Evans. By Wednesday, Mark was gone from the company Slack. By Friday, his LinkedIn quietly shifted to open to work, former product lead. Except he was never a lead, just a thief. And now the industry knew. The CTO's team dug deep. Code reviews exposed Mark's lack of technical contributions. They traced my commits, his edits. Oops, I forgot to tell you, doesn't cover stealing intellectual property, especially during an acquisition. Greg tried to save face with an email. We'd love to bring you on as a consultant, short term of course. Happy to talk compensation. I laughed. He wanted the flame after trying to douse it. I replied, Greg, I wouldn't step back into that building if it was ablaze, and you asked me to fan the flames. Then I hit publish. My Medium post went live at 10:17 a.m. Within 7 minutes, it was viral. By noon, it was trending on Twitter. Headlines popped up. She did the work, he got the raise, she got the final say. Startup queen topples tech bro empire. Interview requests flooded in from TechCrunch, Fast Company, The Verge. Comments poured in: women, non-binary developers, interns whose work had been erased by louder voices. I wasn't just a name anymore, I was a movement. Mark became a cautionary tale of mistaking silence for surrender. Greg called it a miscommunication, a learning moment, but no one bought it. I didn't just pack my desk that day. I took their fragile empire with me. 2 weeks later, I got a message from Alana Ruiz, CTO at High in Tech, a heavyweight in the industry. Subject: let's connect. She'd read my story and had an offer. We met at a low-key midtown cafe. No PR team, no legal buffer, just her and a notebook. Respect is in how someone shows up. She slid a folder across the table. A 6-month contract, full technical lead control, a blank check for salary, plus equity. I don't want you back in tech, she said. I want you shaping its future. I asked, why me? She leaned forward. Because you don't just build systems, you dismantle the broken ones. I signed that night, no doubts. I wasn't begging for a seat anymore. I was drawing the blueprints. Meanwhile, Mark vanished from the internet. No tweets, no posts, just whispers of failed freelance gigs once clients Googled him. Greg clung to his VP title like a lifeboat in a storm, but no one in tech took his calls without a smirk. He became an HR seminar case study. Me, I built a team, half of whom were women who reached out after my post. People with grit, not glory. We launched a beta in 8 weeks, secured funding before our pitch deck was done. We didn't just build a product, we built a culture. No stolen credit, no hidden labor. On launch day, someone from my old company tried tagging me in a fake congratulatory LinkedIn post. I replied publicly, "You don't get to cheer what you tried to bury." It got 14,000 likes in 2 hours. I wasn't just the woman who left a job. I rewrote the rulebook. Then came Michelle, the HR head who told me I was never on the list. She called from a blocked number, leaving a voicemail. "Jenna, things didn't end well, but we'd love to talk. Leadership's changed. Maybe we can rebuild." Rebuild? As if I'd torn it down. I didn't call back. I saved the voicemail in a folder labeled "They Remember." That week, I was invited to keynote a Women in Tech conference, main stage, 5,000 seats. The intro read, Jenna Lee, founder, engineer, system breaker, blueprint maker. Under the stage lights, my heart raced as I faced a crowd of women, new grads, seasoned pros, and shared it all. Not just Mark's betrayal, but the sting of seeing your work credited to someone else, the laugh when you ask for your earned raise, the expectation to cheer someone else's victory. The room didn't clap immediately. They absorbed it. Then came a thunderous standing ovation, not praise, but liberation. A young woman, barely 20, approached me afterward, eyes wet, fists tight. I thought I was crazy. I thought I was alone. I shook her hand. "You're not. You never were. They just banked on your silence." That night, Greg emailed again, desperate we were wrong. I was wrong. "Can we talk?" I didn't reply. Instead, I posted a quote. "When they break you, build outside their system. When they erase you, write your own story. When they remember your name, make sure it's on the door, not the guest list." It was shared 30,000 times. They sent care packages, branded mugs, "We miss you" cards, even a handwritten note from their new CEO. Hired after I exposed Greg's failures. Charming, but I wasn't here for sentimental scraps. I wasn't the woman who slipped out quietly. I made silence costly. Then came the twist. A mutual contact forwarded a job listing. Director of Innovation, confidential company, $320,000, stock options, remote optional. It was my old role, the one they'd laughed off, now bearing my fingerprints, the responsibilities, the strategy, the words I'd pitched in their boardroom. I didn't cry or laugh. I posted. It's wild how companies hire for roles they swore didn't exist. Building value always seems obvious after the fact. Signed, the woman who walked out and turned an exit into an empire. No hashtags, just raw truth. It exploded. Comments flooded in. You built what they feared. Every burned bridge lit your path. By noon, Michelle emailed again. "Jenna, we know this door may be closed, but if you're open to talk, I replied with one line. I don't return to places that needed my silence to thrive. Blocked. Deleted. That was the last I heard from them. I didn't just leave their building. I raised it. And what I built, they'll never replicate it. It wasn't just a job. It was mine. I stood across from their rebranded office, glossy, sterile, same decay beneath the new logo. Not nostalgia, but strategy. While they scrubbed their past, I was securing their future. Through Hyen's investment arm, I quietly bought a majority stake in their key vendor, the one running their back end. No one knew until contract renegotiations, when I walked in not with a badge, but a board seat. Greg was gone. Mark was gone. But Michelle? She recognized me the second I stepped through the frosted glass. Her eyes widened. Jenna, we didn't know, now you do, I said, smiling. I own this room. The meeting was brief. They wanted discounts, priority support, long-term guarantees. I offered none. Just strict, costly, non-negotiable terms. When Michelle hesitated, I leaned in. Sign. Before someone with a sharper memory walks in next quarter. She signed, hands shaking, avoiding my gaze. I left without a handshake. In my car, I stared at the skyline, a city of towers built by the forgotten, funded by the disrespected, now run by me. That night, I hosted my dev team for dinner. We toasted with plastic cups, laughed until it hurt. No suits, no egos, just builders, free and valued. My phone buzzed. An unknown number. You won, Jenna. Hope it was worth it. I didn't reply. I whispered to myself, it wasn't about winning. It was about claiming the ground they thought I'd crawl on. 3 months later, I keynoted a national tech summit. Main stage, massive LED walls, thousands watching. Michelle was there, a panelist on a side stage, now an organizational culture consultant. No mention of her past. Backstage, she approached me, acting like old friends. Jenna, your work is incredible. What you've built, I cut her off. Spell my last name. She blinked. What? My last name? Spell it. She faltered. Lee, I shook my head. It's L-E. You approved forms with it misspelled 3 times. When I pointed it out, you laughed and said, details don't matter. Her face paled. I smiled. They do now. I stepped onto the stage, under lights that didn't blind, but illuminated. I began. A year ago, I packed my desk, thinking I'd lost it all. Today, I signed the checks for the tools I was once locked out of. Applause rolled in, but I didn't pause. I'm not here by luck. I'm here because I stopped asking for permission. I saw Michelle in the crowd, head bowed, hands clasped. I wasn't angry anymore. The woman who once said, I'm excited for my raise, became the one who didn't need one. She built the table, wrote the contracts, signed her own checks. I closed with this. To every woman left off the list, don't fight for a seat. Own the building.